the warm up and the cool down be?
Yeah, good question. Like
Yeah.
really easy, like just
Yeah.
nice and easy jog. Because, and that'll come back to this, warm up, cool down, go as easy as you want. You know, you're not
Hmm.
pushing that at all. So just like 15 minutes, if you want to do some stretching, grand. If you don't, just like do a stride or two and then just get into it. Um,
Hmm.
so as you said, you're doing your 7 minutes at zone. So for you, just do it like 8 out of 10 intensity, even 7 out of 10. Better to be a little bit under that than over it. 2 minutes rest. Then, as you said, 3 by 30 seconds of a hill with a kind of walk back, jog back recovery. I would do the same session as this, Mariel, for you.
Okay.
100%. Yeah. Just do it at the moment, just do it like 8 out of 10. So if you're singing a song, you should be able to sing like one line without having to take a breath. Then the hills will be a little bit harder. You got 2 minutes off, and then you're doing the same thing again. 7 minutes at like that 8 out of 10 intensity, you know, but obviously it's not going to be 8 out of 10 straight away. It's like you're building into it. Then take 2 minutes off, 3 by 30 second hills again, back down. So it's a nice little chunky session for a half marathon, but keep this bit controlled. You know, if this is 7 out of 10, it's fine because you got hills that are going to be harder.
Okay.
Okay. And then 2 minutes is easy as well. Then this session, you're going to do 15-minute warm up, cool down. This time you're going to do 1 minute at like 10K effort, which again, like now think about it, like not flat out there. So not like sprinting. And if I said, if 50 seconds in, I was like, can you keep going for 15 minutes? You should be kind of able to say, yeah. You know, it's not like, you know, we're sometimes with 10K, we're sprinting that. We're not like, we're just, think of the start of a 10K when you're like, you know, after 5 minutes, when you just start getting into it and you're just relaxing in, that type of pace. But the 1 minute is normal pace after. So rather than with the warm up and cool down, we can go and jog as slow as we want. This just go back into like what would be a kind of easy run pace. Don't go to a complete easy jog.
Okay. Oh, sorry, where's the 1 minute in that?
See here.
Oh,
So you're going to do you're doing 40 minutes. So you're doing 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off.
I can't see. Where am I at now? Hold on.
See,
Oh,
that's
sorry.
Saturday.
Right. Sorry. I needed to pinch across. I need to
No,
go
yeah,
across.
sorry, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that, guys, that's 40. So that's a long session. So what we're not doing is like going absolutely flat out there, you know. So it's like just picking it up, slowing it down, picking it up, slowing it down. That's going to feel long. If you're not used to doing longer sessions, you can cut that to 30 minutes.
That's okay. I did 9 miles yesterday, which took me an hour and 40 probably.
9 miles an hour and 40. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, you could do 40 minutes of it then if you're used to doing like an hour 40. That's fine. Because you're doing 15 minutes warm up, 15 minutes cool down.
Okay. Okay.
But see, if you're struggling there after 15 that you've done too hard, just like leave it at like 30 minutes. Okay. Let me grab this. I'm just going to stop sharing for 2 seconds so I can then show the lactic. Okay, sorry, I'll just get this up so I have a. Sorry, yeah. Typical man can't multitask here, so. Okay, I'm just going to show this lactic test because someone has got her results. Where are we here? Okay, I don't think she'll mind us sharing. Okay, you can see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is how it's done, right? So you see, she would have, they're 4 minute tests. Sometimes they'll do 3, but she would have started on the treadmill, running at 8 kilometers an hour, and they take your resting lactate is 1.2. So her resting would have been 105, and then the the amount of lactic in her body is 1.4. This is a good test because you see she then is running quicker. Heart rate is roughly the same, still 1.4. She runs quicker again then for another 4 minutes. Heart rate goes up, say 8 beats, stays 1.5. Goes for another 4 minutes, goes up another to 11 kilometers. Heart rate goes to 122, but you see the lactic drops. So what that gives you is, you see this flat line, basically.
Yeah.
So that tells me at those intensities, she is 100% aerobic. The idea being, like, if you have a hybrid car, if the hybrid car is on electric, and say if you didn't know, say all you had to do was look at the exhaust. If the exhaust had no kind of smoke coming out of it, you know she's electric. So what we do with that then is, and I'll just make these 5 zones then, is she is aerobic until this little spike here. See where it just kind of jumps?
Yeah.
So it's quite flat. So that's the first time her engine is working, that anaerobic is kicking in a little bit. Now, as I said, I'll analyze this for you. So what you see, this is a very typical curve of someone who isn't the least, isn't like, this is the most typical curve I see. Because what happens is people are very good at running basically easy pace. She's very good, 11 kilometers is actually quite good to still be no lactic. But what happens is, once there is a spike at all, so once it goes to 1.6, what happens then is it straight away goes to 2.1, and then straight away goes to 3.4 next, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
So why that's occurring is that, like, a lot of times, if you think of it as a pyramid, people are not training this part of the pyramid enough. So they're either running easy, or then when they're doing sessions, they're running hard. That's why I'm saying to you, like, go 7 out of 10, go 6 out of 10 when I'm saying, like, the aerobic zones, because I want you kind of training in here more. For that 10K session, for example, on the weekend, it'll be like, you'll be kind of training here, and then slowing down to kind of like this kind of pace, and then back up, back down for 40 minutes. So we'll just be practicing a little bit above, a little bit below. The other one, you're going to be kind of here for the 7 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 by 30 seconds kind of here, then practicing just getting back in here for 7 minutes, 3 by 30 to get the legs going, back into here. So what I said to this woman was, like, what we want to see is her easy running is good. This part of the pyramid, this base isn't good. Not that's not good. What I'd like to see is that when she has a spike to 1.6, you'd like that if when she did another one, that not when she's flat, she goes up a little bit, and then she can kind of hold that for a little while. And then she goes up a little bit more, and she can hold that for a little while. But what we're getting is, and you see it a lot, because people do practice this pace, and they practice up here. And then in the sessions, there's not enough time in here. So if you see even your, like, say, the half marathon plan, when see the way we're going to go, like, say the following week, 15 minutes at zone 3 is essentially 15 minutes at, like, here. So her zones were I've given to her. I don't want to click back just so I know, but I have them here. Her zones are, she then goes on heart rate, because pace is arbitrary. When you're tired, when like, you might have a lot on, the training might be hard. There's no, like, pace will always change. But for her, once we know, she needs to go below 135 if she's running easy. And then when she's running at, like, say, her zone 2, she's at 135 to 140. Then if she's at zone 3, she knows she has to get her heart rate to, like, 142, which is this kind of little spike, 142 to kind of 146. And she just has to stick it there. So she'll be doing 15 minutes at 142 to 146. Might take about 5 minutes to get into there. So it'll be kind of 5 minutes in that zone 2. And then it gradually just builds up. And if she goes past 146, she has to slow down. because she's not working this zone again.
Okay.
And that won't feel that hard because it's aerobic, like it's only 6 out of 10, but it practices being here so that when we do another test or in real life, once you practice that, then you get better at running in those intensities. So like say if we take that session next week, that's what's going to happen is it's 15 minutes of that lower kind of zone. It's then 2 minutes off, and then it's 5 minutes at that like other like 5 minutes here, 2 minutes off, 5 minutes here, and then it's a couple of like minutes on, minutes off where the heart rate can go up into here, and we're just more like getting the legs. And in that way, in that session, we're getting here, here, and here done. But what a lot of people do in their sessions is, because if you think that this is over 8 out of 10 intensity, 9 out of 10, people are like always here. Now the problem is if you're doing anything over 5K up, you never are here until the very end of the race. So people practice here, but need here for their races. So that's why the heart rate is, and it's hard to judge that because for some people, see like her heart rates are low, right? So her zone 4 is 150 because she starts spiking a lot. So I wanted her a little bit below that 3.4. I just like where there's big shoot ups. So, and I'll do these, like say Muriel, you get this, and Aoife's trying to set up the test now. Like people do the tests all differently. There's zones they do I don't like. We have the 5 zones we use, but you just send me the results. As long as they have the lactics and the heart rates, I'll do the 5 zones for you. So she knows her 5 zones now. And them zones are the same forever. Because what will change is the pace, but her heart rate and her lactics will be, I did my first test at 18, and I'm now 37, and my heart rates have gone down like 3 beats. So if I never did a test since I was 18, I would know roughly, like I basically have the same results.
Okay.
So
Can I ask, does it make a difference, like when you get the lactate threshold test done compared to to when you last trained or anything? Like, does that make any difference?
No. Because the only thing, because these are internal metrics, Aoife, your heart rates are naturally going to be either high or low, and your corresponding lactics will always be roughly the same. What will happen is the profile might look a lot different. So if she was a lot fitter, say, no, it's actually a really like standard one, but what you'd see is that when she gets fitter, right? If you can, I don't know if you can see where my arrow is. Say when it's going up a little bit, all that would happen is rather than a spike in here, it would like delay and then come up. But the heart rates would be the same.
Yeah, I suppose what I was meaning is, like if you've done like one of the harder training sessions and then you go and get your lactate test done immediately afterwards, would that make a difference? It's just I don't actually have a heart rate monitor at the moment. I'm just using my watch, but I notice sometimes if I'm training a lot, my heart rate is a lot higher than
it would. Yeah, sorry, it would.
Yeah.
What and like I'd recommend, like say when you get your test, let me know. Just cut like, so say if the test is a Friday, like do your other session and make it a little bit easier on the Tuesday. What you would find in that case is her resting lactic is quite high. So that might have been the case that like the resting lactic would be high. That's what would happen. So like that 1.4, 1.5 from the start indicates that she probably had some kind of hard session in her legs. Like the fact that it took this one to get down to 1.3. Someone recovered, that might be a 0.6. Now what would be the same is, see when this goes to 1.6, it could have gone, it could have been like 0.8, 0.8, 0.9, 0.8, and then it would probably go to 1.6. So the jump would be the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good question though. Okay, so does that make sense there? So that like, and that's a real typical curve. So like that's where you see the problems, that like people aren't training here appropriately. And you can see like next week for us, like when you're training, you're going to be doing 15 minutes. They're longer sessions, but because the intensity isn't as high, it's it's easier to get through that stuff.
Mhm.
You know, where a lot of times either people are doing, you know, even to get ready for a half marathon, right? They're either running long, and even a marathon, they're running long and easy here. And then they might do either one, they're just all the training is here. Or they do long training sessions here, and then they go and do like their like track session, which is grand if you're not getting ready for something, but like a track session, which is kind of all up here. But yet you're going to try race here.
Mhm.
So it just doesn't make sense, you know. That's why I'm being insistent with people to get the threshold done. You know, as I said, it's just it's awkward kind of for me. It's like we could just do the Pilates and I could just tell people, oh, 5 out of 10, 10 out. But if they're getting ready for a race, it's like once you have it done one time, you have it. And then it means the difference, because say here with this girl, right? Her zone 4 is 150 to a kind of 160 because 4.7 is way too high. So, but my zone 4 is 180. So this thing 220 minus your age doesn't work.
Mm.
Like where if you have the test one time, like you kind of know straight away. It's like her max heart rate is 175. My max heart rate is like 202. Do you know someone else's my zone 2 is her zone 3 or zone 4. My zone 2 starts at 155. I go 155 to kind of 160. My zone 3 is 165 to 175, and my zone 4 is like 175 to 183. So it's just like, that's why you want to get the test done.
Mhm.
Okay. Great. So look, I think we have the ideas for the training this week. For the if anyone's on, I can do these other times during the day as well, at lunchtime for people. I'll put this recording into the group. Anyone's any questions, just put it into the WhatsApp group and I can answer the questions there. I'm just doing that for the recording. I'll come off now and then